Hello guys, it's Korah here and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a full review and guide on the Sheridan for you guys, and as well with the tips and tricks and of course the replays to back it up. But yeah, so those of you who've been playing Blitz for a while are going to know that the Sheridan is like the most controversial tank in Blitz history. That is because it used to have a guided missile, and basically you could just like derp the missile over top of a hill or a ridge or something, just on top of somebody's forehead basically. So it was pretty annoying and pretty unfair, and you know, in the end it was very controversial as well, which in the end ended up leading Wargaming to remove the missile altogether. But yeah, so now the Sheridan is just a normal tank, and basically this is actually one of my more played light tanks, surprisingly. If you take a look at my stats here, I have almost 800 games played in it, 72% win rate, and 3,400 average, so pretty good stats overall. But yeah, so the Sheridan, you know, it's a decent light tank. The thing is, it's classified as a light tank, but to be honest, it gets outspotted by just about every other light tank in the game. It has very bad camo, and has a pretty big derpy gun as well, 570 alpha, I believe, as well, with the AP shot. So it is a very good tank when you're controlling the fight on your own terms. If you're just like peeking over top of a ridgeline and you know you don't have to worry about the enemy YOLOing you, it is a very good tank. Now again, because it has a big derpy gun, it's not going to have the best DPM. So if you end up in a 1v1 with like another light tank or medium or whatever, any other tank basically, and you get into a 1v1 just purely based by DPM, you will always lose that fight. So you need to make sure you don't like run into a situation where you're like face hugging somebody in a 1v1 and you're gonna lose that fight by DPM anyway. So in a way, the Sheridan requires a little bit of team, you know, support, because you just have to make sure that nobody's able to like YOLO you and just try to 1v1 out DPM you. But other than that, as long as you're kind of like protected by your teammates and you're just able to like kind of sit somewhere up high, you know, using that gun depression, because again, Sheridan has pretty good gun depression as well, actually. So as long as you're able to do that and just like trade like on your own accord, basically, you will always out trade whatever enemy you shoot, because you have a bigger alpha gun than just about every other medium / light tank in the game, right? So overall, that's kind of how you play the Sheridan. Now, just overall in terms of armor, Sheridan has 0 armor to speak of. The only armor that it has is actually in the back of the tank, surprisingly, which don't worry, I'll get into it at the very end here, or just in a minute or so, right after I cover the equipment and the consumables. But yeah, with that in mind, let's get right into the consumables here. I'm using double repair kit and adrenaline. There's no point to use the speed boost at all, just use the double repair kit. And again, since I have double repair kit, protective kit is not actually required, and so I'm actually using double food and then the fuel as well, just to maximize like my stats as much as I can. The food helps with the DPM a little bit, and then the fuel helps with the speed. Now when you go to the gun, again, as I mentioned, gun has 570 alpha, so it has pretty nice alpha. However, the biggest problem with the gun, guys, is that it has APCR standard, and again, Sheridan is not very accurate in the first place. The gun is, again, it's a derpy gun, right? So it's not very easy to aim in the first place, and then on top of that you have APCR. It just, you're gonna bounce a lot of shots that, to be honest, you're gonna be like, what the hell, how did I just bounce that? It's just the way the Sheridan's designed, you know. The APCR is just gonna troll you a lot. It's just the way the shell is, right? But other than that, you do get heat, and you get a decent amount of like heat pen as well, so it's not too bad actually. And again, since we're running heat, when we go onto our equipment here, I'm just using calibrated. Calibrated again gives you a plus 13% heat pen, so yeah, you get over 350 pen there with heat, which is enough to just cut through just everything in the game. You don't really need like any more heat pen than that, to be fair. Other than that though, Sheridan, everything else is pretty standard. I'm using just pretty standard equipment here. You can just like basically copy what I have. There's nothing too special about it. The only thing you have to like really make sure that you have is calibrated. Now, again, if you guys enjoy these kind of reviews and guides, make sure you guys smash that like button, and also make sure you guys subscribe if you're not already. But I just want to show you real quick in training room. I'm going to show you guys how the spotting on the Sheridan looks like, because as I mentioned earlier, you get outspotted by just about everything. So I do have a little bit of a test there. I'm going to be using a T100. T100 again is like the best, you know, like camo in the game. Basically, the tank outspots every other light tank. So you'll see the difference of like other tanks versus the Sheridan in terms of spotting. And then also, you know, I have a test with the Vickers as well, which is just an average light tank, nothing too special. Does not have the best camo nor the best view range, but in the end, the Vickers has like better spotting range and better camo than the Sheridan, so you won't get outspotted as easily as the Sheridan does. That's the problem with the Sheridan. Sheridan just gets outspotted by just about everything, and I'll show you guys in a second here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into the training room. So as you can see, guys, Sheridan gets spotted at 178 meters. That is crazy. Like, you know, it's the earliest. The Sheridan out of all light tanks has the worst camo of any light tank for sure. And even though he has really high view range, you know, I still outspot him because my camo net is so strong. And he only spots me at 154 meters, where we spotted him at 178. So we completely outspotted the Sheridan. And now we're gonna back up, and we're again gonna repeat the exact same test again with the Vickers here. Again, we're moving up a little bit slowly, one by one, trying to see where the Vickers is. Again, Vickers gets spotted, 162 meters, and he does not spot me, by the way. Now I'm moving left and right again to make sure I don't have camo is on, and then he's going to keep driving forward here. See if he can spot me. And I think he should spot me. Yeah, there you go, 152 meters. So as you guys saw in that like little training room test there, Sheridan basically got outspotted at 178, whereas Vickers got spotted at like 162 or something. So that 10 meters of you know, that little 10-meter distance can make a huge difference actually in a lot of situations, especially when you're in 1v1 against a light tank on the enemy team. He will obviously outspot you in just about every situation, and I use that example there. The Vickers is basically like the average light tank. Most average light tanks, you know, will, you know, by the T100 at least get spotted at 160 meters. The Sheridan, on the other hand, gets spotted at like almost 180, so it's actually a huge difference. So just keep that in mind. Just want to show you that. And then right before we get into the replays, one more thing I want to show you guys. Again, you know how I mentioned earlier about the armor in the back of the Sheridan? Yeah, just a little bit of an armor guide here. Going to show you in the training room how to, you know, armor, as well as how to use it to your greatest advantage as well. Alright guys, so here we are in another training room video here. I'm going to just show you a little bit of the armor profile in the Sheridan here real quick. Now I'm in a Sheridan, and I took another buddy of mine to put him in a Sheridan. Now as you can see, I shot him with HE there. That was HE, by the way. We hit him for 344. That's a fail HE basically. The HE did not pen. The Sheridan has spaced armor on the sides, guys, but the one spot on the side that you can pen is between the track and the spaced armor where I just shot earlier. See? That shot right there hit him for 698. That one pen for sure. Again, Sheridan, it looks like it can pen. That's one thing you got to keep in mind. It looks like it can be HE'd anywhere. It's all gray, but it really isn't. There's spaced armor everywhere on the tank. Again, even in the front of the tank, you can see where I just shot there. It is spaced armor. Now, again, same story. Basically, if you want to pen the Sheridan frontal, you have to shoot the very lower part where I'm aiming right now. The very like lower plate there with HE, you can pen it. Now, one thing as well about the Sheridan that I really want to show you guys is how troll the back of the Sheridan is. To be honest, the Sheridan is one of those tanks where you putting your back behind you actually gets you way more bounces in the front. You barely bounce anything in the front, everything pens. But look at the engine deck on the Sheridan. For some reason, the Sheridan's engine deck is pretty red. Now, at this angle, I'll still be able to pen him, and I will kill him right here. You can see I killed him, right? But if you shoot the sides, like the left and the right, like not like directly down the middle on the engine deck of the Sheridan, which is the back of the tank, you will get a lot of bounces. Now, here I have my good friend Angel here, and also I sell all tanks. Now they're going to be shooting the back of my tank. You can see he just bounced in the back of my tank. Now if I angle my tank a little bit and he shoots a little bit, like, you know, a little bit not in the center of my tank there, like in the back, you can see I'm getting so many bounces. They're bouncing my side, guys. Like, this should be pretty hard for them to do because I am technically a light tank. But it is actually a pretty clever way of using the Sheridan's armor profile to your advantage. Now, a lot of times, sometimes I will try to bait people with the back of my tank. You know, try to bait a shot. If you need to bait a shot, you know, ideally you don't want to take any shots at all. But if you need to bait somebody, sometimes baiting them with your rear can actually work, you know, because most people think that the Sheridan is easy pen. It really isn't. You can see, look at all the bounces. They have not penned me once, by the way. So, and they're shooting. You can see the tracers on the shells there. They're shooting me in the back. It doesn't seem like a shot that should be bouncing, you know, at that angle. Like, look, they're not even like, I'm not angled towards them. It's not a crazy angle. They just are not able to pen the rear of my tank if they don't hit directly down the middle, because I think the shot just over pens or something, and it just goes through the tank. It just doesn't hit any module. I don't really know exactly the reasoning why, but all I know is for sure it doesn't pen, you know, if you shoot a left and right of the engine, where you can see most of the shots I have in the back of my tank are. If you shoot directly down the middle, then yes, you will pen it pretty easily. So just keep that in mind. But very clever way of being able to use the Sheridan, which is technically a light tank, you know, generate armor from nothing basically somehow. But it is something for you guys to keep in mind. If you guys want to use it, it is a tactic you can sometimes get away with. However, again, it is a light tank. Do not drive with your ass backwards thinking that you're going to bounce everything. Trust me, guys, this is like kind of like a last resort kind of tactic that you should use, and also helps as well if you're running away. A lot of times you get a shot with the Sheridan and you just run away with your ass facing backwards, and people who shoot you will sometimes bounce you quite a bit, actually, surprisingly about bounces that you get from the Sheridan. But just keep that in mind. But that's I just want to show you guys that. Alrighty, so as you can see here, we're on the map Faust with the Sheridan now. Right away, Sheridan is something about the Sheridan that it has no turret armor, so I don't really want to go toward the left side here. I know a lot of like media players want to go toward the left, but for me personally, I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just play in this middle bush here and try to see what kind of heavies cross toward the heavy side. Now, usually, if they cross from the low side, you can get a pretty easy shot there with the Sheridan. I'm just kind of waiting to see if there's anybody that crosses. I'm just pre-aiming it, and yeah, we kind of notice that there is a Kron that crosses up there. It's kind of the first sign that tells me, okay, maybe they're not going heavy side, because Kron is one of those heavies that's kind of expecting to push across, right? So the fact that we haven't spotted anybody kind of tells me that nobody's going to go toward the heavy side. Now, we do find the KPZ. KPZ does actually spot us somehow. I believe we probably were a little bit out of the side of the bush there, so that's probably how he spotted us. Obviously, if we're inside the bush, he should not spot us, right? We will have the camo advantage, but he does get the shot into us. No big deal. We do shoot him back, so overall was a trade. Not really the best trade, but at least it is a trade, right? And not like a completely free shot taken. Now, you can see my team is trying to push the heavy side here. We do get a pretty sneaky shot into that KPZ there. And for some reason, enemy TVP kind of does a weird play. Now he comes back toward the heavy side. Now something I don't understand, or something that you guys should at least understand, is that you should never commit to the side that you've already lost. Now it's so obvious that this TVP, like, you know, we lost the enemy team lost the heavy side here. So I'm not really sure why he's going there. He does kind of will get killed for it really for free. And even though we had our own Type 61 die on the med side for free, the TVP kind of gave us a trade that we were able to use. Again, very nice trade. And now we have another tank to kill here. Now Kronwagen, again, he should have left his position long ago, same as the KPZ. He should have left it at the same time the KPZ did, actually, because we were reloading at that time. But he's kind of staying there for a little bit longer than he should. And I think I don't know, he's very tumbled onto me for some reason. You can see he's just staring at us the whole time. And we do get the kill on him. Now, again, Destiny makes basically the same mistake the TVP did on the enemy team. The Destiny's kind of went forward instead of backing up. He should have backed up. Now we're going to try to get the shot in. And RNG says no. Kind of the thing about the Sheridan, I mean, your gun, to be fair, the gun so far has worked pretty well throughout this game, but there will be a couple shots where you just miss the point blank, you know, just APCR standard. Not a whole lot you can do about it, you know, and that was kind of one of those shots. Now, overall, we have a pretty favorable situation, you know. We have a 6 versus 4 right now. And if you kind of notice, most of their team, like, you know, is on the low side. Now, we kind of bait the egg there. He is a little bit slow as a shot. Obviously, one thing you need to keep in mind with the Sheridan is that it's not a T100. You will get spotted way earlier than you do with other light tanks. So in this situation, that's why I got spotted there. Now, I know the Yag just shot me. I do have faster reload than the Yag, so we get around him there. And if you just saw right there, the WZ just shot. He just shot somebody, I think, and we see that he's using adrenaline. So WZ is just reloading, and I'm going to try to go for this WZ here for a free shot. This WZ is kind of like the main target I want to focus on. Now, I do make the mistake of stopping here. This shot I take, this makes me a one shot. This was actually a huge shot for me to take, really. I am, you know, in this game, it will make my game a lot more difficult for taking a shot because, you know, now I'm basically a one shot, right? So, I should have kept driving there, should have shot on the move. Obviously, would have been a little bit harder, but was definitely doable, given that he was, like, I didn't really have to aim my shot on, he was kind of toward the side. So, W just shoots again here. Now, we do put a pretty big roll into him, which this roll kind of makes him a one-shot as long as I don't low roll. But this E100 dies at a very bad time for me. He gets ammo racked as well, so he should have been surviving another shot from his tier 9 BZ, but he ends up getting ammo racked, and now I have to worry about 2 tanks, right? So, I'm going to try to play this the smartest way I can. Now, obviously, in this situation, I have to take a little bit of risk. The risk is, I know the BZ has 460 alpha. We do get lucky, he bounces that alpha there, but we do have to go towards him there and take a little bit of risk because we know if we take a shot from the other WZ there, he's going to kill us no matter what, right? He's got a pretty big alpha gun, 640 alpha or 650, whatever it is. It definitely will kill me basically if I take that shot. Now, again, we will take the risk again with this BZ here. Now, he does low roll us, and we are left on 2 HP, guys. 2 HP in a dream. That's what we're left with here. However, it is doable because this WZ is shot. We do have to reload. We're going to get around them and get the HE shot on the side there. And now we're in a 2 versus 1. Very favorable situation for us. We have a very healthy IS-7. And KPZ is the last tank alive. Now, here I am up at 6.3k damage almost. But I don't really want to be too egotistical here with the shot. I really need to play this safe because I don't really trust my IS-7 here. You know, for all I know, he could just choke this game somehow, right? So I'm going to try to make sure the KPZ looks at the IS-7. At least that's the only time I'm going to shoot him. Now I can see right here he's kind of looking at the I-7. I get the nice shot into his back there, and the I-7 takes his time to aim in, and he clears him for us. So, yeah, that was a very good game. Overall, I did kind of make a couple mistakes in this game. Obviously, it was not like the 100% flawless game. And in the beginning of the game, I did take the shot from the KPZ. And later on, I did take that shot from the WZ, which was a very crucial shot. As you saw there, like, we easily could have, this game could have been completely different if that BZ high rolls us just a little bit. You know, 2 HP is all we had there. And we also got the bounce on him earlier too. So a little bit of luck with this game. You know, obviously I could have played it a little bit better, but to be honest, considering that 2 of my teammates managed to do 0 damage here, you know, not too bad at all. 6.8k, and I think was also a pretty solid mastery as well. Yeah, we did get the mastery for it. So Yeah, just one thing to keep in mind with the Sheridan though is another situation there with the Yag there. The camo net on the Sheridan is really weak. The camo on the Sheridan is not that good. So the Yag was able to spot us, and you know, if you're not too careful, we very easily could have taken that shot from the Yag, and that would have completely ruined our game, right? So just a little thing to keep in mind. But other than that, solid game. And now we're on to the next one. Alrighty guys, so here we are in the Sheridan. Now we are on a map called Himmelsdorf. Now this map is not really a fantastic map for the Sheridan because the map is very small and in the same time doesn't really give you a whole lot of spaces to work with. Now Sheridan is a light tank, it excels as a light tank, and in this kind of map any light tank doesn't really have a whole lot to do. But what we're going to see here is that enemy team here has an E50 and a Korah. Now these two mediums, I will be able to outspot them, so I'm going to try to pre-aim them, knowing that they're going to get outspotted if they try to cross where I was aiming at. Now, they do get spotted by my other team, teammates very early on here, and so right away we know where they are, and this allows me to move up a little bit more here. Now, I'm not as scared, and I'm looking for a shot on this E50. He does turn like last second there, so we're not really able to connect the shot there. But all is good. We're just going to reload. This E50, I think, still has no idea that we tried to shoot him because we never got spotted in the first place. So, once we're reloaded, I'm going to try to do the exact same peek that I did earlier. I'm just waiting for his side to peek up a little bit, and we find him, and we shoot him. There we go, 638, pretty good roll there. Although he does hit us back, pretty good shot on his part, to be honest. However, I can see that my team is about to push him here, so I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive. I have adrenaline on anyways, so I'm going to get one more shot in. And there you go, 542, very nice roll. And that's one thing Sheridan does really well, is it hits for quite a lot of alpha. So if you have teammates around you that you can, you know, nuke a tank around and just let the teammates clear it for you, Sheridan is very good at doing that. And that's kind of what we do here. Now we notice the E4 again turning around. We get a nice shot into him there. Very big shot too. I think 640 almost. So overall, we're in a pretty decent situation right now. It is a 5v5 with my team, but we have the full control of the med side, whereas the enemy team doesn't really have the full control of the heavy side yet. We still have one heavy, if you look a little bit to my left there, who's still alive. So he's kind of holding that area. Now we do roll at max roll 713 on that WZ-15A. And oh yeah, it's the car holding actually our spawn over there. But yeah, so for now we're actually in a pretty decent situation. And now one thing about the Sheridan is that it is a light tank. Now, although as a light tank, it doesn't really have very good camo compared to other light tanks, it still has good camo compared to other tanks. So we are able to actually outspot that concept. He's not even able to spot us, and that's one thing the Sheridan does really well. Once you can get a little bit of distance between you and the heavy tanks, you can really trade some good shots like at long range there with heavies. And now we're going to try to spot the concept again. He's still there. He's even looking at us. He knows we're there, but he does not spot us because we're unspotted. There we go. We got a nice shot into him. 592 second shot into the concept there. And so far, we've been having a really good game overall. Overall, things are looking okay. But again, with the Sheridan, it's like I don't really have a whole lot of options right now because I can't really push into the enemy team. All I can do is kind of wait for like a long distance and kind of hope that they kind of make a little bit of mistakes, you know, with their peaks and stuff. And maybe I can get a couple of shots in. But right away, this WZ crossing, he spots me again. Like I said, Sheridan, you know, camo net is not that good. I get spotted quite easily there, and you know, I could have taken a shot from the E4, although I reacted pretty quick there, so he wasn't ready to shoot me at that time. But right now, this 5A being up front there is my biggest problem at the moment. I'm gonna try to get an angle towards them. Again, keeping as far as I can, like distance-wise, and even then, like I'm redlining as far as I can, basically, to try to get the shot on him. Even then, the chieftain spots me too, right? Again, just another demonstration of how weak the camo is on the Sheridan, and really, it's the biggest downfall. Now, that was a pixel shot and a half. Not gonna lie, do not expect to hit these kind of shots when you're in the Sheridan. I did get very lucky actually that I was able to hit that shot, but. So far, the game's going pretty well here, and this 5A is still like my biggest problem. I still see him, and now it's like, okay, I'm waiting for this car to push in here. I need this car to kill the chieftain so that I could move up and start pressuring the WZ here a little bit. Now, car does not move up, and I take a shot from WZ, and the E4 hits me. That is some bad news, guys. But we're going to at least get one shot into the WZ-5A here, and this is the second time in the same game that we've rolled him for a max roll. There's 713 damage. We basically rolled 1426 on him in 2 shots. So very unlucky for this WZ here. We took over like more than half his HP. It was just like the 2 shots that we hit. Would you try to sneak the shot into the O there? I did do that because I saw he wasn't like really looking. Again, Sheridan with the peekaboo playstyle is really useful, to be honest, because you have such big alpha. So being able to, you know, get a shot in and back up, like I'm gonna try to do here. Nice, easy shot and backs up. Perfect. This is the exact like way you gotta play the Sheridan. It's very useful. And the O shot 1. Yo shot 2. Right now, I know the Yo has a 2-shot gun, so this is going to be my chance to go in and get one more shot into the Yo here. It's the 2v1. My teammate on the other side wins it. We're going to aim our shot in, and then we're going to run here. However, in this situation, I did actually kind of mess up the timing on that Yo there. I should have kept driving while I was shooting him, because me stopping kind of ruined it a little bit. He almost kills me, the Yo there, but I actually end up driving towards my last surviving teammate. I was relying on that fact. I knew I messed up. I knew I messed up the timing. That's why I ran towards my teammate, because I knew if the Yo peeks me, there's a chance my teammate might be able to trade me there. So we did actually mess that game up at the very end there with the the timing. We took too long to aim our shot in. Again, it's one thing about the Sheridan you're gonna have to like really play around, is how bad your aim time is. It takes a while for you to aim your shots, and sometimes there is going to be a couple games where like the shot that you take forever to aim in ends up haunting you a little bit. And you can see actually in the previous game, actually on the Faust game against the WZ to TD, me aiming that shot in actually got me shot back for like 700, and that shot made the game very difficult for me, right? So one thing with the Sheridan is it's a very good tank for trading, but the aim time can really let you down, and sometimes you will have to just snapshot and just pray that your shot goes in, because if you wait too long, the enemy will shoot you back, and that's kind of where the Sheridan kind of struggles a little bit, is because it has such weak aim time. Gets spotted very easily as well, so you're gonna, it's just sometimes where you're not really gonna have the most favorable situation, and you're just gonna have to rush your shot just the way the tank is made, but overall still a very good game. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, so here we are on the map Castillia, and as you can see here, enemy team has a CS63, a Sheridan, and those are like the only 2 mediums that they have. So overall, I'm not too worried about going to med side here. I do have a TVP buddy beside me here as well, so I should be pretty well supported. So what I'm going to try to do here early on is try to get a nice little boost going on the castle. Now, the Castillia basically controls the entire med side. It is the high ground in the entire med side. And here's a little bit of an interesting route here. It's not very commonly used, but it is a route that I think, helps you get up there a little bit faster than some of the other ones. And as you can see, very early on, we got up here. Now, one thing about the Sheridan that you have is good gun depression. And right away, look at the shots we have on this 4005 and the enemy heavies and stuff crossing to the med side here. This is a very sneaky way of getting the early shot into, a heavy for 600 there, and we do get the shot on 4005. Now, enemy Sheridan does try to shoot us, and we do back up just in time to avoid him. But, overall here, we're just trying to make sure that we're capitalizing as many opportunities as we can while not getting nuked by the enemy Sheridan as well. And here we go. He does peek a little bit further. We do have the high ground advantage, so that's why we're able to shoot him, but he's not able to shoot us. So again, as Obi-Wan always says, high ground matters, right? Anyways, we do see that Sheridan shot again, so we're going to prioritize try to get him out of the game early here. We do nuke him again for another 547 roll there. Overall, we're in a very good situation, and to be fair, the majority of the enemy team has basically came to the med side, even their heavies and their TDs as well. So at this moment of time, I still am pretty safe up here. Usually people might think, okay, now I should run, but no, I'm actually not going to run. The reason why I'm going to stay up here is, again, I have the high ground, and look at their heavies. Their heavies all went from the low ground, which is a big mistake. Again, if they went up the hill to the Castillia, where, like where I am, basically opposite where I am, that would be a different story completely. Now, then I would completely have to run. But since they're all kind of pushing on the low ground here, I have easy shots into them. And right now, we're aiming in on this 57. He's not really giving us the peek, but the Korah should be an easy shot here if we can get a peek on him. There we go, nice 583. Yeah, so overall, and yeah, we're using the rock here as well to hide from the 57. So as you can see, there's literally nothing the enemy heavies can do to me. Even though I'm outnumbered here, like basically 3 to 1, they can't do anything to me because I just have the high ground advantage. Now, we do take a shot from the 57 there. I think he failed HE's us. 226 is a very low roll. So I'm pretty sure he shoots HE, which is something I mentioned earlier as well with the Sheridan armor profile. You know how like it looks like it can be HE'd, but it's all spaced armor, right? So just another thing that, you got to keep in mind whenever you're facing the Sheridan is that sometimes you will not be able to HE stuff that looks like it's HEable. Anyways, things are looking good for us here, and obviously the enemy push here has completely like faltered. There's not much that they're doing, and because of that, I can kind of re-aggress back on the hill and just farm the TDs here. I just have constant farm in this game, and again, in this game, I'm playing it perfectly. I'm playing it using positioning. I'm playing using mobility. As you can see early on in the game, I was able to use my mobility to get up on the high ground there, and we do max roll that 50B there. Again, easy kill for us. He wasn't even looking at us, and yeah, this game is just like shooting fish in a barrel, really. And all of it is because we have high ground and the enemy does not have high ground. And again, Sheridan on high ground does really well, to be fair, because it has gun depression. And is a decently tall, like it's not super tall, but it's a pretty tall compared to other light tanks. So, when you have gun pressure and you're tall at the same time, it allows you to get a lot of shots off that you normally wouldn't. Now here, enemy team is basically dead, so I just go in for the kill here on the CS. Last tank left here is a Yagi 100. We're going to try to go in for him as fast as we can. And I think we can, yeah, we can survive a shot from him anyways, so we're just going to go in for the YOLO. He has a one shot, we just shoot him in the side, and there we go. Very nice game there. So, this game, to be fair, was not that exciting. It was just a bit of a steamroll from my team, but it doesn't mean anything. In the end, I still, you know, showed like the, you know, I used the tank to its greatest capability there. Again, using the mobility to get on the high ground, and also keeping the high ground and using that nice alpha that I had. As you saw there, I was trading shots with heavy tanks. So I was winning the trade every single time. That's the thing with the Sheridan. When you have a big alpha gun like the Sheridan, you have a huge advantage when you can control the fight on your own terms. When you peek whenever you want to peek, you will always win your trade, right? Because you have a bigger alpha gun than most other tanks. So that's kind of what we did. And again, we controlled the, like, anytime we wanted to peek, we controlled when to peek. We never once were forced into a fight where we had to like use our DPM, because of the Sheridan, we'll never win that kind of fight. So just something to keep in mind for you guys. But yeah, overall, very nice game. So now we're on to the last game of the Sheridan here. We're on the fourth game, and we're on the map Normandy. Now, Normandy is honestly a very good map for the Sheridan. Again, there's a lot of positions like in the middle of the map there where you can use the hills to your advantage, because again, the Sheridan has good gun depression, and you are a light tank, so essentially you're going to get there way before any heavy or TD does, right? The only thing we really need to watch out here is for the enemy Korah, Batchat, and the T100. Those three tanks are just as fast as we are. And you can see there, Batchat, you know, moving up. He does spot us, but I think we might be able to get a shot into him. Oh, we're not. No, we're not able to. Unfortunately, but we do see the 50B actually kind of stay there for a little bit longer. But as you can see, we do kind of get nuked there a little bit. And that's, again, a little bit of a problem with the Sheridan. You are, like, again, you just get outspotted by most tanks. And although we did spot the Batchat there, I think if we were a T100 or something, I don't think he would have spotted. I think we would have gotten there in time, you know. But right away here, we do notice that the enemy T100 is actually YOLOing at the beach here. We do get a very sneaky shot on him, a bit of a snapshot there as well. And instead of chasing the T100, we're actually going to go for the Korah here. Now, Korah is a much safer option. He's behind the T100. And obviously, I cannot go for the T100 if the Korah is going to shoot me in the back, right? So I have to kill this Korah here, and we do get the first shot on him. Very nice, and he does miss his shot. Now, overall, we are in a bit of a pickle here because we can see that the enemy Batchat is being super aggressive, but we're kind of lucky that he's not focusing us. And the Korah is clipping our own Batchat. So we're going to load up an HE shot here. We do have the back of the Korah. Can we get it? Nice. We get the max roll with HE 863. So that's a very nice shot there. And overall, this game is looking pretty okay for us as long as we can kill the Korah here and then deal with the T100 later. And I think that's what we're going to do here. Korah is still driving. Can we get the kill on him? Yes, we do. A bit of a kind of a tough shot, not super tough, but a little bit of a tight spot there. But overall, looking good. Now we're going to go help our Yeg with the T100 here. Now, Yeg, I think, or not the Yeg, the Wayne 3 actually, but he's kind of being circled by a T100 here. And can we get an HE shot? Yes, we do 732, which honestly, we've been getting some nice HE shots. Usually the Sheridan, I don't really shoot HE that much, because the HE doesn't really do that much more damage than it normally would. But again, if you have the back of a light tank, why not shoot HE? You know, it's just extra damage. And there we go, we get the kill on him as well. So overall, game is looking pretty good. Now, 50B and the Batchat on the enemy team are one shot, so this is actually good for us. And this is like a 5v5 at the moment, and we have 2 caps. So overall, I don't see how we should lose this game now. Do have the shot on 50B. Can we get it on? We don't. That right there, guys, is the problem with having APCR standard. Again, this shot 100% would have happened if it was AP. But again, APCR just that much more trolls. So yeah, we do bounce the shot, unfortunately. But overall, doesn't really affect our game too much, and we only lost out on like 100 damage from missing that shot there. So we've done like 4,000 damage so far anyways. Now VK does end up being a one shot. I think our concept should have a huge advantage against the enemy VK there. Concept again is super all down, and VK, you know, is a super heavy, so it's pretty big. It's not really going to be able to hide completely. So we're gonna, I think, try to, actually, you know what, we're gonna try to go for a shot here on the VK. We're gonna see if we can do like an on the move shot, because I know there's a Yag behind the VK, or a WZ or something. One of the T's, yeah. So we do go for the shot there. A bit of a completely shot on the move. And you see how the Sheridan, like how inaccurate the gun is on the Sheridan when you're shooting on the move here. We completely missed the shot, but again, we did not have the luxury to aim in, because we probably would have died to the enemy Yag there if we took our time to aim in. So we went for the move shot. Now we do clear up the WZ, and overall this game is looking pretty good here. Again, pretty simple game, like nothing too special. But I think, again, it kind of just showed you, like, you know, how, like, if you saw the Castillia game before this, you know that in the power to high ground is super important. And in this game here with the Sheridan, we were able to do that. Again, we had 2 tanks going to the beach. We had the high ground on top of both of them. And in the end, that allowed us to get a lot of damage off of that Korah and the Batchat, or Korah and the light tank, right? So overall, we can take our time here to aim in our heat shot on the egg. Very nice shot here. He does spot us again, because Sheridan does not have good camo, so it's pretty easy for people to spot us. But I think he only spots us if we shoot here, so we're going to try to load in another gold shell here. I think we should be on spotted pretty soon. and we do miss. Again, Sheridan gun is not that accurate. You know, at long range, it's not the most accurate tank ever. At long range, it's more of a close range kind of brawler, you know, or close range damage farmer. But we might still, yeah, I think we might be able to get another shot here. We just need to Yeg to back up a little bit more here. He's not really backing up to us. Yeah, I think we're going to have to take a wider angle here, so we're just going to reverse all the way back here. I am a little too lazy to turn around, and as you can see, the game's going to be over anyway, so even if the Yeg kills me somehow, it doesn't change anything. And again, reverse speed. Yeah, there we go. The Yeg spots us. We do get the shot though, and we get the clear. So 5k game, nothing too special, but still it's a pretty clean game. And there's a couple things I wanted to highlight there. Oh, we do have, actually, I just realized there is one more tank left there. It's the enemy VK. Can we get the kill on him? Oh, we don't. Unfortunate. It's all good though. But yeah, as I was saying though, the Sheridan in the first couple games there, if you guys remember the Faust game, I did actually end up like taking my time to aim in on the Faust game, and I got shot by a TD and that ruined it. So a lot of times with the Sheridan, sometimes you won't have the luxury of taking your time to aim in. The VK there, we just didn't have the luxury to take our time and get the guaranteed kill. We have to shoot on the move, and you see what happens when you shoot on the move. It's pretty easy for you to, you know, end up like missing your shot, and we did that, but it's fine. Like in the end, as long as we don't get shot back, it's all right to miss a couple shots here and there. And actually, we do get the mastery from this game as well. 4 kill mastery, 5k damage. Very, very nice. Alright guys, so we reached the end of the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I did try to, like, you know, cover as much detail and information as I possibly could on Sheridan. Hopefully it will all help you guys when you guys are playing this tank in pubs and stuff. Overall, again, just things to keep in mind. Sheridan, again, gets outspotted by just about everything. You know, you have to be very careful about when you get spotted, because heavies and TDs will spot you pretty early. And then on top of that, the gun is very inaccurate, so you have to take your time to aim it. And you also, at the same time, have to be careful not to take too much time to aim, because sometimes that will get you killed. And you saw in a couple of my replays there, especially with the Yo and the game on the Faust one with the WZ, where I did actually just take too much time to aim in and almost lost the game by doing that, right? So sometimes you have to shoot shots on the move, like we did in that Normandy game there. Fully on the move is completely, you know, Hail Mary shot. You know, if it hits it, great. If not, then, you know, you tried your best, right? But sometimes you just gotta be careful that way. And just, again, guns very inaccurate, will get you some bounces, especially with APCR. But other than that, as long as you can play somewhere on a high ground using gun depression, you know, using good positioning, and also where you have like a little bit of team support so that you're not really at risk of being yolled by like another medium or light tank, then overall you will do very well in the Sheridan. It is a very fun tank to play in general. So hope you guys enjoyed the review. Again, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys smash that like button if you did enjoy it, and as well, make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. I am making guides on just about every tank. Lots of videos lined up for you guys. And again, if you guys want to check out some of my other videos, I'm going to have them linked in the top right. If you guys want to check out my Korah clutch series, I have a, you know, a series where I just have some nice clutches and stuff. They'll be linked in the top right at the end of the video here. And then if you want to watch some of the other guides that I have a guide playlist. I'll link it as well in the top left. But other than that, hope you guys enjoy. And again, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.